From illness to health, from poverty to prosperity, from conflict to peace. It has the power to transform our lives for ourselves, to our families, to our communities. No matter who we are or where we are, learning empowers us to change and grow and redefine what's possible. That's why access to best learning is a right, not a privilege. This is the why of the Golden Circle in Coursera. Coursera partners with the best institutions to bring the best learning to every corner of the world, which they have been doing successfully. So that anyone from anywhere has the power to transform their lives through learning. Coursera now has 82 million learners, 100 plus Fortune 500 companies, and more than 6,000 campuses, businesses, and governments came together to Coursera to access world-class learning anytime and anywhere. For us in GITAM, we got access to Coursera once pandemic has started, and personally, before I start, I am Sampath and I am pursuing my bachelor's in civil engineering, and I am studying in my 3rd year. So I got access to Coursera while I was in my 2nd year. All of us are very much lost because of pandemic for obvious reasons. When I first got access to Coursera, that's when I started questioning what exactly excites me. So Coursera has a lot of courses, right? It has courses ranging from medicine to psychology. One course that particularly caught my attention was this course on social psychology. And that has changed my perspective forever. There are many courses like that, including journalism. So something that I always wanted to do is a minor in journalism with a major in civil engineering. Because of Coursera, I could do that during the pandemic. So today, we have with us Mr. Raghav Gupta, sir, who is the Managing Director for Coursera, India and Asia Pacific. An entrepreneur, business leader with proven track record in customer, internet and management consulting industries in India, Southeast Asia, and Europe. Fun fact about Sir is that Sir has led 3 companies in internet businesses in India, including Coursera, BlaBlaCar. Before that, now I would like to invite our beloved President, Shri Bharat Sir, to come onto the dais and address the gathering.
Good morning, everyone. Can the ones in the back settle down? Please take a seat. So as Sampath was mentioning, I think getting back to physical classes is new for all of us. So let's just remind ourselves, I'll remind you, of hygiene. When anyone is speaking on the stage or in the coffee chat, I think it's disrespectful if you are speaking because don't think that we can't hear you. There is a chatter that's coming from behind. So for the duration of this session, my request is hold your excitement and listen to the people who are speaking on the stage, whoever that may be. Can I get agreement for that? Yes or no? Okay, thank you. Now, I'll introduce Coursera from the perspective of GITAM, and I'll give you some updates on what has happened over the last year and a half in regards to Coursera, and then I will hand over the stage. There's going to be a sort of coffee chat between Mr. Raghav Gupta, as Sampath said. He's the Managing Director of Coursera India and Asia Pacific, and Ms. Rima Gupta is our Director of Digital Learning. I don't know how many of you have met her, but I think you must have seen her in the virtual interactions. Can I just get an understanding of the audience? How many of you are undergraduate students? Please raise your hands. Almost all of them. Okay. How many of you are in engineering? How many of you are in management? I see more management hands. How many of you are in sciences and social sciences? How many of you are from everywhere else? Okay, that's a small number. Okay, how many of you are in your third or fourth years? A small number. How many of you are in your first or second year? Okay, so I've understood the audience. So I think many of you were not with GITAM when some of the things that happened with Coursera happened. I'll just give you a brief sort of journey in time as an organization what we have done. So in March of 2020, all of you know that we went into lockdown, the pandemic took over the country, and it was a very challenging time. And just before the pandemic struck, we were in discussion with Coursera on how to partner with them. And we were debating on how many licenses we should take, 5, 10, 15, 20,000. We have 23,000 students across our 3 campuses. Then the pandemic came, and then Coursera started a COVID initiative where they said, because learning has been impacted around the world, we are going to do a goodwill gesture. We're going to give out licenses. And they did that program initially for 3 months, but it got stretched for 5, 6 months. And in that period, we agreed and we saw value in partnering with them for the long term. And Sampath just mentioned that they have 82 million learners. That's 8.2 crore learners. That's the population of Andhra and Telangana together almost, right? So that's a big number of learners on the platform. I think it's probably more than doubled since COVID has struck. And I think for Coursera, this has been a tremendous opportunity to reach out to a much wider network. And for GITAM and for many other universities, also it's been a tremendous opportunity. But this investment after the COVID initiative ended did not come for free. We have signed up for 20,000 licenses for 3 years, starting from September of 2020. So we have already completed 1 year. We have 2 more years to go. We are spending a lot of money on this. So 20,000 licenses, I mean, let's say it's somewhere close to 10 crores a year, right? And I don't know how many of you, because you have business students here, some of you understand finance. That 10 crores is normally the budget of a typical affiliated college. That's how much they get annual revenue. So this decision that we took was not an easy decision. It was expensive. If you look at it at the per student level, maybe not as much. But if you look at it from the institutional perspective, it was a big risk that we took. And when did we take it? We took it in March, April of 2020, when the future was extremely uncertain. We did not know whether you all would pay your fees. A lot of you sent emails saying that we're not coming to classes, so reduce our fees. Especially the ones in the front may know about it, the ones in the back not so much. So it was a big risk. Can we pay salaries on time? How do we maintain the motivation levels of our faculty and our students? But as a leadership team, we decided that in times of crisis, it's important that we stay ahead and that we invest into the disruption of any field that you belong to. So we realized that whatever COVID has brought, a lot of negatives, a lot of downsides, many of us have lost loved ones, but it's also got a lot of upsides. Let me tell you some upsides that have come. Earlier, when we used to do any meetings and we used to take any decisions, they used to be very much Vizag-centric. We used to sit with leaders in Vizag and decide. Zoom was an option that existed for a few years before, but we never included Hyderabad and Bangalore faculty or leaders in the discussion. But suddenly when the pandemic came, all of us are sitting at home, we were forced to adapt. So in that sense, this is just an example. COVID has been the best CTO that any organization can ask for. The amount of adoption of technology that has happened in the last 18 months in institutions, in individuals' lives, has not happened for probably 10 years before that, or maybe more. So we want this is a new normal. This is how it's going to be as we move forward. We don't expect the world to ever go back to the pre-pandemic environment. We continue to work virtually Even to this day, as we have begun physical classes, 85–90% of my meetings continue to be virtual. And they continue to be represented by all 3 campuses, not just concentrated in Vizag. So these have added a lot of benefits to the organization. Now coming to your individual journey with us, many of you have a lot of time left, 2, 3, 4 years with us. What is Coursera? Why is Coursera important? So 3 main reasons that motivated us to think that Coursera is going to be important. One is, when you choose a degree or a major when you join GITAM, many of you may not be aware whether you want to study that degree, whether you want to work in that field or not, whether that is your purpose or not. But for many reasons, some of you want to work in front of a computer, some of you want an assured job, some of you want to do it because your friends are doing it. And for many of those reasons, you have chosen a degree. But it may so happen that in the 4 years or 3 years that you are with us, you want to learn something else. As a university, for us to provide those kinds of learning opportunities are not easy. Hypothetically, let's say you want to learn German. I don't have a German faculty member who's going to teach German to you, but Coursera provides that access to us. Let us say that some latest technology has come, and I don't know what the language is, but many of you must have joined artificial intelligence and machine learning and cyber security. These are frontier areas of development where our faculty members may not all be equipped with what are the latest developments in the field. But Coursera, by the way they work, they engage with universities across the world. They have almost 7,000, 7,500 courses on their platform today from some of the best 200 universities in the world. And they also have content coming from some of the best industries in the world, like Google and Microsoft and HP, etc. So giving that diversity of learning opportunities to the students, both within their major and beyond their major, is one major reason why we wanted to bring Coursera onto the GITAM ecosystem. The second is, faculty members are not, as I had mentioned earlier, subject area experts, even in the courses that they are teaching. And for them to have access to what is happening around the world will make them better teachers, better faculty. And out of the 1,500 faculty that we have today, all of them have done at least 3 courses on the Coursera platform, like you will be doing in the near future. And many of them have done more than 10 courses. And I think that is a tremendous learning opportunity for the faculty. So that was the second major priority, to provide an alternate platform that supports, enables our faculty members to become better at what they do. And the last priority, which does not concern you as much today, is that eventually we want to become a center of excellence ourselves, and we start creating content. We start creating courses that are relevant to where we are in the country, in the state, the disciplines that we teach. There may be something that we offer that is not available on the Coursera platform. And eventually, similar to courses that you have seen, maybe GITAM will be one of the course providers to Coursera. So with these 3 main objectives, we partnered with Coursera, and here we are. Many of you are new to GITAM. So my wish or desire is there's going to be 2 parts of your journey with Coursera in GITAM. One is Coursera is going to be integrated into your curriculum. So some of your courses will be replaced with Coursera courses. Some of your courses will be augmented, where you may have 4 or 5 modules, out of which 1 module will be through the Coursera platform. So that will be a good learning opportunity for you. All of those courses you will be tested on, there will be exams, you will get credit for that. So that's one big part of your Coursera journey. The second and equally, if not more important part of the journey is for each of you to identify what is your purpose. What do you want to do in your life? What does your name or your identity define you as? So Sampath, who was speaking before me, said that he's interested in journalism, and he's a civil engineer, and he found an opportunity to study journalism. And that's great. I think those are the stories that we want to hear. That students have come for a degree, but that they have gone with something much more than that when they graduate from GITAM. So that will only happen when all of you start doing a couple of things. One, start questioning what is your purpose? What do you want to do in life? What are you good at? What do you like to do? And it should not necessarily be limited to your major. And second, don't chase just marks or degrees or grades or certificates. These are important, but maybe 5% or 10% of the overall picture. Because 10 years from now, see, I've graduated from college 15 years ago or 12 years ago. I don't remember what subjects I've studied and how much grades I've gotten in them. What learnings I have taken away, how they are helping me today in my life, are what are relevant to me. So I think in that sense, don't overemphasize or don't get obsessed with marks and grades. Yes, as a university, we will test you, we will grade you, but these additional courses that you're doing outside of your major, there's not going to be any assessment from our side. You're going to do it because you're interested in it. So make time for yourself, invest into yourself, because as a university, as Coursera, we can provide a platform, but how high you go, how far you reach is going to be on you. So I have a list of students here who are going to be sharing their journey with Coursera later today. And some of them have done, I think the highest number here is 186 courses. Some student, Surya Abhishek, are you here? No? You don't, I don't think you are. I'm going to read the next highest. Srinivas Matala. Yeah? So he's completed, no, you don't need to speak, Amma. Good job. I'll just, he's completed 95 courses on the Coursera platform. And I don't know, Srinivas, have you done these courses because you wanted to learn or you just wanted to get a completion certificate? Huh? I can't hear you. He wants to be an entrepreneur. So to be an entrepreneur, in whatever area he wants to start a company, he went and educated himself. And these are examples that I want all of you to be inspired by. 95 courses, even if the average course is 6 hours, he spent 600 hours outside of his academic curriculum to study. So these are the stories that I would like to see. Many of you are going to be graduating with us in the next 3 to 4 years. I really look forward to seeing many more such stories. And I think the session with Raghav and Rima is going to be very insightful. You're going to have a Q&A session for your talk also, right? So I think it will be really helpful for you if you ask questions once they are done with the initial chat. And then we will have experience share from your seniors who have been on the Coursera platform for the last year and a half. Okay, with that I'd like to close. Thank you all and wish you all the best in your journey at GITAM.
Thank you, Bharat sir, for your insights. Coursera has definitely helped students to have that smooth transition from offline mode of learning pre-pandemic to a smooth online mode of learning post-pandemic. And students in the back row, please maintain silence. Yes. All right. Now, I'll take the opportunity to introduce Rima ma'am to you. Rima ma'am is a stellar academic record, has a stellar academic record and an industry, she has an industry experience of more than 25 years. A fun fact about ma'am is she created first Coursera course from ISB in India. And ma'am has her special interest in women leadership and she took wonderful initiatives back then while she was with ISB. And we have Raghav sir. One thing that caught my eye was sir's bachelor degree is mechanical engineering. And sir also mentioned that he loves to interact with people, students. Today, all of us will get an opportunity to interact with him. And from his mechanical engineering to what he's doing today, we have a lot of wonderful stories from which we can gain great insights. Now, without any delay, We named the session as Raghav's Fire Chat with Rima on future of education. Without any ado, with huge rounds of applause, please welcome ma'am and sir on the stage.
So good afternoon, GITAM. Can we hear some noise? Yes, that feels beautiful. It feels like we are alive, we are on campus, and we are together. So one more time.
So I must say, this is the first campus, at least I'm personally visiting since the pandemic hit in Feb. And your energy is amazing. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being so high in energy as well.
Great. Thank you, Raghav, and the Coursera team actually for visiting GITAM. And we are very, very delighted and excited, and I think this crowd is amazing. So let me see a show of hands. How many of you have taken a Coursera course? At least one. I wish it was 100%, but yeah. Raghav, you don't count. Your hand doesn't count. But great, and we'd love to hear more from you. We hope this is just the beginning of our journey. This is a very, very exciting platform for us, and you know, when you were registering, many of you had asked questions, right, that I actually have curated, and I'm going to ask Raghav. So one of the, let me start, Raghav, maybe with the first question that students, again, they are just joining, and as Bharat, I think he left a very important, right, point he made is, finding what your purpose is, right? And you join a college because some recommendations are made, you feel there's a good career option, but again, sky is the limit, and you have a very interesting academic as well as experience trajectory. You started with DYP as a mechanical engineer, and then you went to NIFT, and then you went to INSEAD and did your MBA. Maybe if you could tell the students about your journey and then follow it up with your career path as well.
Sure. So I've always believed your purpose can change, right? So that's the approach that I've taken a little bit. I've worked for roughly about 24 years, and I've had 3 careers. And the good thing has been that every time I've gone and got an education, I've applied it in my career. So I went to Pune University, studied mechanical engineering, and then my family had a business in the retail industry. So I went to NIFT Delhi and studied how to manage a fashion business. And then for the first 8 years of my career, I worked in manufacturing. I worked in apparel manufacturing. So what I learned in engineering in NIFT, I applied that. And it was nice because I worked in India, I worked overseas as well. And then I got a little tired of that, so I said, let me try something else. So I went and did an MBA. This was in Europe for some time. And then I came, I finished that and I said, look, I want to work as a management consultant. I want to advise companies on what they should be doing. And for roughly about 7-8 years, I had a fairly, even if I say it myself, jet-setting kind of a lifestyle where I was working in London and working with companies there. So that was the second part of my career. And the third piece of my education was not actually in college, but my own startup. So I actually launched an online business and ran that for 2 years. It did not succeed, so eventually we shut it down, but I learned a lot. And then the last 8 years of my career has been working in consumer internet businesses. I've been at Coursera for 5 years. And when I joined Coursera, we were serving about 10 lakh learners in India. Today we serve close to 1.5 crore learners, so that business has really grown quite significantly. But that's been my 3 careers with changing purposes, if you will.
Okay. No, that's great. And you know, one of the best things when I read about you, it said that you're passionate about consumer internet and entrepreneurship. And the business that you started was in bakery. So maybe, you know, we say failures are our best teachers. Can you share some insights, anecdotes that you think would be interesting for all of us here?
Yeah, I think when you start your own business, the first thing that it teaches you is that cash is king. When I did my MBA, the faculty in finance would talk about this a lot, that cash is king. And many of you are just coming into college, you might not appreciate this term as much. But when you're starting your own business, being able to manage your cash is absolutely important.
I think for college students also probably the canteen money, right? You need that. So I'm sure cash is king here as well.
I think the second thing which I learned was that when you're starting something new, the initial team that you start with is very important as well. And how is that team working? What's your camaraderie and so on? So at Coursera, for example, when we started in India about 5 years ago, we put up a team of 10 people and 8 of us are still at Coursera. So how do you start a team which you get along with is very, very important as well. And then the third thing which I think I would say which is important in your own business is who is the customer that you're trying to serve, and is there a large number of customers that you're trying to serve is also important. So when we started this online bakery business, there was only a small number of customers that one could serve. But at Coursera, we can serve crores of people in India and millions of people outside the country as well. So just understanding your market extremely well is important as well.
Sure. No, that's brilliant, and it's great to hear from you about your experiences. Maybe to piggyback a little bit on that, is like, we say education prepares us for our future. And one of the things with Indian traditional education is that, and again, you are freshly coming to college, so you've been in the school environment where we are always told, right, what to study, when to study, the subjects, what exactly is covered in each subject. And like Bharat said, right, you are now in a university setting, and there's a world of opportunity, especially at GITAM, that has been open to you with this GITAM Coursera partnership. So can you talk a little bit about this transition that now our students will have to make from knowing exactly what path to do versus this ambiguous cloud?
Yeah, so firstly, the simplest thing I would say, right, at least when I went to college, the first thing that I had on my mind was party hard. But I would say work hard and party hard is a better way to think about it as opposed to just saying party hard. So that's one thing to think about. The second thing I would say is that when you're in school, right, your teachers are telling you what to do. When you come to university, the amount of guidance you get is lesser and more is left to you. You are an adult now. And what we will say on Coursera is give you even more freedom, right? So you're somebody who's studying mechanical engineering, we'll say to you, you can also come and study German, the example that Bharat was taking earlier. So that's what I would say, that be able to embrace the freedom that you get, but also importantly work hard and party hard at the same time.
Sure. I think I forgot the party hard in my college days and only remembered afterwards. So sadly, I missed out a lot. But yes, I completely agree. Work hard and party hard, they both need to go together. Maybe following up on this thought is, I think students have a lot of choices now. Like you can study different areas and so on and so forth. I think one key point is that you might get lost, right? I think from a Coursera platform, you offer like 8,000 courses. It's like a buffet now spread in front of you, and you have to decide what's healthy for you to eat. Maybe for the new age learners, for the children who are just beginning this journey here at GITAM, what advice would you give them that they should follow in this new digital world?
Yeah, so say, so let me take an example. Last weekend, I met somebody in my family, and this person studies at IIT Delhi. And he spent 2 years preparing for IIT, and then he got admission, and so on and so forth. And so I asked him, do you know which are the best engineering colleges globally, not just in India, but globally? And he did not know, right? Because he was so focused on Indian institutions that he did not know. I think one thing that I would say to everybody, right, is that unlike earlier, where you came to a campus and you were only limited to learning what that campus could teach you, what the online world opens up is learning from the best in India, but also the best globally, right? So if you're studying to be an engineering student, and if you don't know who Princeton, Georgia Tech, Michigan are, then you should definitely find out. And don't limit yourselves to just best in GITAM, best in India, but also open your own horizons to the best in the world. And then similarly, I saw lots of hands went up, and many of you are management students as well, right? So knowing what you're learning at your campus, but also knowing what is Wharton, what is INSEAD, what is London Business School is also helpful. because one thing that Coursera can do is bring you high quality education from there as well. So I think that's a starting point. And the second thing I would say is that, again, just going from school to college, right? All of us, when we came in from school to college, we were looking for our teachers to learn. But today the world is opening up to saying you don't have to limit yourself to learn from your teachers. That's important. And maybe 60–80% of your learning will come from your teachers and your professors. But today you can also learn from any university in the world and also many companies in the world. So, you know, if you're in management, if you want to go and learn digital marketing, you can learn how to do marketing from Facebook, right? And it doesn't get any more exciting than that. So I think those are some helpful things to keep in mind as well.
Sure. And I would just like to add a couple more points to this, is that, you know, in school we are taught to memorize, right? We memorize a book answer and we regurgitate it in the exam, and that's how you get highest points. I think college education is different. And please remember that cut and paste now is called plagiarism, and it's not called memorization. So I would encourage you all that when you're doing these assignments, many of them are online, many of them are not something that, you know, it's not that someone is sitting out there and judging you, right? In the end, it's a platform, it's a technology, it's assisted by AI, but you are your own judge. So you are judging your learning by giving the assessments and not someone else. And would you maybe want to add something more to it?
Yeah, the other thing I would add is some of this transition from school to college and also from college to also online education will not happen online. It's a little bit like a muscle, right? You have to go to the gym to build it. And I often tell this to myself. So some years ago, I had a bit of a midlife crisis, and I decided that to prove that I'm still useful, I should run long distances. So I started running half marathons. And a half marathon is 21 kilometers. It's not a joke, right? But before I could run the first half marathon, it took me 6 months of practice to first do 5 kilometers and then do 10 and so on and so forth. So as many of you start getting used to what Coursera can bring to you, I think to go at it step by step, to go at it with discipline, to build this muscle of online learning is going to be important. It is very possible to game the system. It is very possible to cheat. But eventually, if you want to work hard, party hard, like I've been saying, and eventually set yourself up for success for a good career, then you want to be able to maximize this opportunity as well. And I think that's what I would say there.
Sure. No, and the last question from my side, and actually that represents a lot of questions that came from the students, is of course about right work choices. What kind of job opportunities will I be capable of after I take Coursera certificates? What is the value of it? How does it help me with my career perspectives? So maybe if you could shed some light on the future of work and the kind of skills that these students who are just entering college should build in addition to academia.
Yeah, that's a very important point. And if people have been following the news, right, many of you might have seen that over the last 1 year, 1.5 years, lots of jobs actually got lost in the country, right? If you were in hospitality, if you were in retail, if you were in food and so on and so forth, lots of jobs got lost, right? And data tells us that millions of jobs got lost in the country. But what not everybody might realize is millions of jobs got created as well. And these millions of jobs are largely in those kind of jobs that can be done in the digital space, irrespective of your career, right? So if you're working in the retail industry, there's e-commerce. If you're working in the banking industry, there's online banking. And so lots of jobs got created. And on the Coursera platform, we have seen that these crores of people who are coming to learn new skills are largely learning 3 types of skills. They're learning digital skills, they're learning data-related skills, and people are learning human skills. You know, companies like ours are never going to go back to 100% being in offices. Many companies have said that even after COVID ends, we will have a hybrid model of working where some work will happen in office, but a lot of that work will happen offline, online as well. And so building digital skills, building data science skills, building human skills is going to be important. If you're a mechanical engineer, studying mechatronics will be important for you. If you're working towards a management degree, learning fintech, learning cryptocurrencies, if you're looking at current cricket ads, everything is about cryptocurrencies. And some of those companies will survive and grow, some of them will die out. But, learning about fintech, cryptocurrencies, blockchain, all of these are going to be quite important. sometimes in India we can sit back and tend to tell ourselves that, the world is changing, but India is not changing. But that's not the case. I think we are seeing massive changes happening in the world outside of us. And as you're in college, whether it's for the next 4 years or if you're in your final year student, I think being aware of some of that is going to be important as well.
No, thank you, Raghav, for these insights. I would like to now open it up for questions from the students. Maybe we can take 2-3 questions if we have time. So we'll just open it up. Maybe do you want to share the mic around? Oh, your mics. There are mics around. You can just raise your hand. Yeah. No, go ahead. And I understand many of you are first years and might be shy, but please don't be. This is your platform. This is for you. And as I said, there are no stupid questions. There are only stupid answers. So we are responsible for the answers. You are only responsible for asking questions. It's okay. I think we are comfortable with what we have spoken. I hope you guys have understood, so maybe we'll move on. So again, thank you very much, Raghav and the Coursera team for being here with us.
Yeah, we have a question. Ma'am, we have a question.
Woohoo! Let's give a big shout out. Woo!
Very good afternoon, sir. I'm a 4th year law student. And actually, I wanted to ask that while I was doing courses on Coursera, the law courses are very less, first of all, and the courses which are there, they are mostly based on countries which are outside India. But we learn laws of the country, of this country. So the correlation is, we can only make a comparative analysis of it, but the learning is not that much. So we want more courses of this country so that we can access to them.
Yeah, that's a completely valid point. Thank you for the question. We do have lesser courses in law when it comes to Indian law. That being said, what I've seen law students take is a lot of content around cybersecurity law, a lot of content around international law, a lot of content around international arbitration. But I completely agree, we don't have enough Indian law content. And the other thing I would encourage you to do is, if you're thinking about some of the human skills, some of the data skills which are also going to be related to law, those are going to be relevant as well. But to your point about getting more Indian law content on our platform, that's helpful feedback that we'll take up for sure as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much. We'll move on to the next item, which is...
All right, thank you.
So we'd now like to actually take this opportunity and recognize all the students who have done phenomenally well. As Bharat said, right, it's not just that we learn from our teachers, but one very, very important point of learning is learning from your peers. And there's no better person who can tell you about their Coursera journey and about their experience. So I'll call out the names, and I would like you all to come on stage. We do have some gifts from Coursera for you. And if a few of you would like to take the mic and share your journey, we would be very, very open to it. I would also like to invite Rajesh. Can you please come on the dais? As we give out the certificates, Professor Rajesh has been one of the instrumental folks from GITAM who actually spearheaded the Coursera effort. So thank you, Rajesh, for being here. I would also like to invite the dignitaries from Coursera. Bipin. Bipin is head of customer success stories. And please, Dallas. Dallas is head of India and Asia Pacific. And Akansha, will you please join us? Akansha has been my partner in crime in terms of initiating the Coursera journey. We'll make this quick because I do know that you want to give some giveaways, but I did want to recognize the students, so let me call out their name. There's Shah Shodak. He has 13 completions. Thank you. We have Soumya Ranjan Das. He has 12 courses completed. We have Indala Jay Surya, who has 186 courses. We have Matala Srinivas, who has done 95 courses. We also have Sahu, who has done 10 courses. I think he's not here. Ramineni Bhavya, who has completed 6. We have Perugu Gayatri, who has done 40. We have Pentakota, who has done 32 courses. Welcome. Althi Lokesh, who has 39 courses. We have Nishchal Adhikari, who has done about 25 courses. P. Anisha, who has completed 12. Ayab Baba, yes, you'll have to help me. Ayabba Baba, who has completed 26. Venkat Ratnam, who has completed 22. Pranay Reddy Ambati, who has completed 12. And Palepu Lakshmi, who has completed 11. And last but not the least, G.S. Mitra, who has completed 49 courses. Awesome, guys, you rock. And you led a great example for the rest of the incoming batch. Thank you so much. And now, before we leave, I think to give you a little bit of a glimpse of what the Coursera portfolio is about, I invite Akansha and Bibin to give you, as well as don't go away because we do have some fun giveaways for all of you. All you need to do is participate. So with that, over to you, Akansha. Yeah.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon. Are we holding up for lunch? How many of you are hungry? I know.
Apart from these 15, the ones whom we interviewed, we didn't call them up.
You didn't give me the names.
These are the 15 that Rajesh sir gave me.
I told you to give me all the names.
Oh my god, then we have to call them. We will ask him to give away, okay? Yeah, I'll just...
Hey, there are some goodies that we have for a quick trivia quiz after this, so please hold on. All right, this is not a long presentation, so quickly, I think Raghav and Bharat spoke about the kind of skills that are required. So quickly, let me introduce myself. Can the people who are, could you please sit down? That will be better actually. All right, quickly to introduce myself, my name is Bibin, and I, like Raghav mentioned his journey, so I lead the customer success team, and I've had a similar journey. I was a mechanical engineer, then went around to do my MBA from one of the, I did my engineering from one of a category 1 school like yours, and then went on to do my MBA, right? Right now, like Raghav said, all of us, quite a few of us who have gone through our careers, have had 2 or 3 different careers, right? I started with a technology company, then went on to do a startup in consulting, and then last 5, 7, 10 years, I've been with companies like LinkedIn and Coursera. So it's really about what I wanted to talk about today is the fact that campuses like GITAM prepare you to start your journey, but in the end, it's really your journey that you want to kind of evolve. And that's really what Bharat also mentioned about finding your purpose. And what I thought we could quickly talk about is some of the things that we are seeing in the industry. Clearly, there is a lot of conversation about what kind of skills are coming out, and it's really up to you to figure out how do you kind of bridge that gap, right? So a lot of us probably are good, big fans of Apple, but there's clearly a story that's coming out in this quote here, that there's a mismatch between the skills that are coming out and the skills that are required. When I was graduating, it was much easier for sure. We knew exactly what companies were looking for from a jobs perspective. Today, it's very different. So Raghav alluded to this. The kind of skills that we require for some of the jobs really are digital skills, right? I mean, this is to give you a flavor of the kind of jobs that are coming out. And when you look at these titles here, we're talking about data analyst, AI, ML, big data, digital marketing, etc. And don't mistake this as this is something only for computer science engineers or engineers like that. Every single of you will have some impact of each of these skills. So a platform like Coursera is really to enable you to get equipped with some of these skills that are coming out, and will need to be something that you think about as you build your portfolio, right? So there is the curriculum, there is the campus, but what do you learn beyond that to prepare yourself for the skills of the future? That's the quick reflection here, and the kind of jobs that you have right now. 150 million jobs we expect by 2025 in some of these areas. This is again just to give you a flavor of the kind of skills that we see on Coursera, which is trending. A lot of them will look like very technical skills, but as you can see, digital marketing is right up there. For management students, blockchain is right up there. You have graphic design, data structures. And then the kind of flavor that I want to give you is, while this looks like technical skills, you have Excel skills. I think the biggest thing that I've learned through my management degree is Excel, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can do on Excel. How do you build those kind of skills? Really practical skills for if you're a management student. Writing professional emails. We are working in a global environment, a virtual environment. We don't meet. Like Raghav mentioned, we have about 150 Courserians in India. I have not met more than, 20 people now because of the pandemic. We communicate day in, day out through emails and virtual communication. How do you then write professional emails, right? These are the kind of things that you need to be thinking about, and that's what we are here to help you with. Some of this, your curriculum will allow you. Some of this, we can help you build on your own muscle, right? And again, it's not like you can't build these skills. The one thing, and I think there was another conversation about how you want to kind of Raghav's half marathon. So you won't acquire these skills on day one, right? You're here for the next 2 years, 4 years of your journey, of your life at GITAM. How do you start putting a plan in place to kind of build out these skills? You may not even know the answer today, right? I mean, like when you join a campus, you may not know this is exactly the job that you want to do. But broadly, if you have a direction that the industry and the world is moving towards a particular skill area, can you start building towards those skills? So that by the time you have to make a decision of the career choice that you want to make, you are equipped for that. And it's not difficult to build these skills beyond your curriculum itself, right? And finally, to close out, I mean, there are a bunch of skills that we all need, and it's not just technical skills. You won't get a job just because you have technical skills. How do you build a combination of skills around different areas? And which is the conversation that Bharat was making earlier about multidisciplinary skills, right? I mean, today, like when I graduated from mechanical engineering, we were talking about internal combustion engines in one particular way. But today, cars are about IoT, of electronics, of automation. It's much beyond mechanical engineering, right, as an example. So that's again, from a multidisciplinary skilling, that becomes a key part of your imperative. Finally, what I would recommend you to think about is, how do you translate what you learn into the curriculum in terms of skills? And that's the key language. One of the key trends that we are seeing is employers today are not just looking at degrees and credentials, they are also looking at skills. So think about yourselves as, what skills are you building? Because tomorrow what is going to happen is, while you have your transcripts and your grade books from the university, what the hiring manager or the recruitment companies are looking for is what skills do you bring, right? So that's the real message that I want to leave with you. Think yourself in terms of skills. Courses, Coursera, what you do in campus, all of that should be a motive to help build those skills. And it's for you to make the decision of what skills are useful for you to take you into the career path that you want to decide. Even if you're doing a higher studies, right? I mean, even for that, how do you build out those skills that you want to acquire? Yeah. With that, I will let you, I won't kind of continue this whole conversation. So let's do a quick trivia quiz, if that's okay. Is that exciting for all of you? Okay. If this is, I know the lunch is, your hunger pangs are coming in, but maybe some Coursera swag will help you. Are you more excited about the trivia quiz? Come on, a little more energy for that. All right, perfect. Okay, so I don't need this kind of. So we'll keep it very simple. I have a few small questions for you, and people can shout out the answer. And I'm going to be the judge on this, so whoever I see, I will just call up, right? I mean, people who get the answer, I'll call you to come and get your goodies here, right? We have a bunch of about 10 questions, that's all. Okay, let's start. I'm going to start this. Good. Okay. Coursera is known as a MOOC. Can anyone tell me what does MOOC stand for? Put your hand up and call the answer out. No, don't Google now. That's the challenge with doing these kind of quizzes now. Everybody is, yeah, please. Yeah. Massive open online courses. So we have the first winner. What's your name? Nitin. Nitin has got the first one. Great. Congrats, Nitin. All right, the second question. Okay, this is a trick question because we've already called this out in the conversation today. So I'm just checking if you're listening. We said Coursera has about 8.5 crore learners globally. How many of these 8.5 crores are in India? Oh, so somebody was listening. Come on in. Awesome. Your name, please? Sai Raghu. All right, good one. Okay, another trivia question about Coursera. From which university did Coursera originate from? Okay, someone there. Okay, sorry, it was a Stanford. See, backbenchers sometimes miss out because of this. The answer is Stanford. Okay, the next question. So, just a quick follow up on that. So, the course that came out from Stanford was a machine learning course by our founder, Andrew Ng. Does anyone know, has a guesstimate of number of learners who have taken this course so far? Any guesses? Typically, how many people come in a class? 60, 100? Sorry? 30 million is a little too much. Yeah, I can't hear. 21 million is a lot. It's about, okay, one last guess. Okay, I'll give it to you. It's actually about 2.5 million, but closest. Okay. Since AI is the new thing all around, right? What is the name of the first non-human to be given a United Nations title? Think AI. Yeah, somebody mentioned. Yeah. Go ahead, Sophia. the humanoid robot. Awesome. On that note, who coined the term artificial intelligence? That's a tough one. And don't say Steve Jobs. Yeah, John McCarthy it is. Excellent. Last question. Okay, maybe last two questions. What's common between Sherlock Holmes and IBM? What's common between Sherlock Holmes and IBM? Lateral thinking. No, you can't. It's a little bit related to, yeah, go ahead. Analyze data, but I want a particular name. Sherlock Holmes and, yeah, go ahead. Okay, it's elementary. Elementary? Watson. IBM Watson is a platform of IBM in the artificial intelligence space. Okay, last question. A lot of your seniors have been doing courses on Coursera. Do you know how many hours of learning have we completed from GITAM on Coursera? Any guesses? There's no, it's just a guess. Across all students, I mean. Think big numbers. 10,000 hours. Okay. No. 60,000? You need to go much higher. 200,000. We have a higher bid for that than that? Sorry? Somebody, if people are saying, please raise your hand so that I can actually see who's saying it. 3 lakh hours. Okay. Last one. Okay, 5 lakh. Who said 5 lakh? Okay, good. 5 lakh hours of learning you all have done, and thank you so much for doing that. I mean, it's unbelievable. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. Love the energy. And I would like to recognize some of the people who made it this 5 lakh number possible. I think we forgot to call these students, so please come in and collect your t-shirts. There's Sai Hemant Babu Sunkari, there's Kavya Shri Amala, there's Bamidi, and I will skip the last name, Veera, Kala, and Divya. Thank you so much for being here. These are your alumni. These are actually your seniors. Please connect with them if you want to listen more to their journey and what their learning experience has been. Awesome. These are our rock stars. Give a round of applause. And please don't forget, there's a photo booth outside. Take your picture, share it with us. We would love to hear stories from you. And thank you for being such an amazing audience. Awesome.